So conversation is the single best way to understand people in different perspectives. And so for episode 2, I wanted to get a completely different perspective than what I got in the first episode. And so my next guest is someone who is absolutely incredible. She's intelligent, beautiful, confident, and does all of this while also maintaining the utmost humility. So I'm very excited and humbled to be able to welcome to the second episode of Let's Talk, Miss Ava Lolita Hansen. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show with me. I'm very excited to have you.
For having me.
Of course. I know that you're going to give a lot of great insight, and even after hearing bits and pieces of your story, I've been really inspired by it. But I think it's time that other people hear a little bit about that. So, Miss Ava, please tell me about yourself.
I'm Ava Lolita Hansen, like he said.
Yeah.
I'm 20.
Is that how you say it?
So the real way to say it is Ava Lolita Hansen.
Oh, okay.
Hansen is Danish, so you have to specifically say it that way. But
Yeah.
I'm Hispanic,
Okay.
so that's why it's Ava. But I'm 20 years old. I have grown up in Richmond, Virginia, my entire life.
Yeah.
Gone to school there and everything like that. Grew up there. I'm Hispanic, like I mentioned. I have a lot of family in Puerto Rico that I still talk to and keep in contact with. So yeah.
So I know that we grew up in the same area, and we've known each other for some time. And it's been an exciting experience for me to be able to watch you grow over the years, to kind of see your evolution not only as a person but also as a woman. And it's pretty awe-inspiring, actually. And so you're trying to model, produce, act, photograph. What's going on right now? What's going on in your kind of creator's world? What are you trying to do?
So I feel like now in life I'm able to make decisions for myself, and so I feel like at this age I'm so young.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like life can also be short. So I feel like I have to kind of go into different avenues that I might have not seen myself going into. So because I have lost a lot of weight since the last time we saw each other.
Yeah.
I was able to gain confidence,
Yeah.
so that's why I was able to get into the modeling.
Yeah.
The kind of like the stylist side of me came out when I started to see wait, I actually like wearing these types of clothes. It doesn't just have to be just like jeans and a shirt all the time. But
Nothing's wrong with that.
I know,
but
true.
Yeah.
But
decided to
also,
do it up a little bit.
Exactly, just to kind of be different, and it wasn't forced. It was more like it just naturally happened.
Yeah, of course. So let me ask you, have you always inside of yourself maybe seen that person that you wanted to be, but maybe couldn't translate that to other people, or maybe other people didn't understand? Did you feel like you've always thought this of yourself and what you wanted to be, but it was hard to communicate that with other people?
Yes, definitely, because before I wasn't confident. I was kind of in this hole where I felt like I was by myself, and I couldn't really show everyone else who I wanted to be because I was too stuck in my head, and there were all these, I guess you could say, expectations for me that I wanted to really hit, that every person wanted from me, that I wasn't really thinking about myself and who I was. So for the last, I would say 2 years or so, that's when I've been able to grow myself and who I am, and not kind of just meet all the goals that other people had for me.
Yeah. Not let people kind of put you inside of that box, but take yourself outside of that.
Exactly.
So what was your catalyst? What was the moment that really spurred that self-transformation where you were like, I want more, I want to be a better version of myself? What was that moment that did it for you?
So I wanted to commit suicide last December, and I was at a place where I was just extremely unhappy. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life, and I was just kind of stuck. And when I realized that I was living life for other people and not for myself, I think that's when it finally hit. Because I didn't know that that's what I was doing until that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's a lot of things in life that we figure out as we go along.
Definitely.
And one of the people that I look up to the most always tells me that life is about balance, right? Any energy that you put out into the world, you have to also make sure you're receiving back, at least in some capacity, right? And when we pour out too much in one place and we don't receive it, or we don't seek to find it in other places, our body starts to tell us mentally, physically, emotionally, you are drained.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you were maybe in a place where you were giving a lot of love, but weren't necessarily receiving that love and being replenished. And to know now that you found it deep within yourself to replenish that love for your own self, for your own being, is beautiful. Definitely something that I struggle with as well. Trying to figure out who to give that love to, right? Because you can't give it to everyone, because not everyone's going to appreciate it the same. At least that's what I think. And I think that, some people will look to take advantage of it or wrongfully use it, and then you're hurt, So life is about balance, right? The bads are, allow you to be able to experience the goods, but being smart and kind of understanding those different parts of it make it a fun journey. So how did you improve? I know you talked about where you were and where you are now, but what does that space in between looks like? If you could take me step by step to how you really started to build yourself up.
Yeah, so at the beginning I was definitely insecure, being in school and not really having that many friends, or not many people knew that I was being bullied. That was where the insecurities started to grow, because I was comparing myself to the cool kids. I wanted to be that girl, and comparing my hair to them, my waist size, everything like that at such a young age. And I did it for a very long time. And I think the reason why I was able to grow from that was also because I'm extremely religious. And God made me who I am. And why would I have to purposely change that, if that makes sense? And you were talking about energy and giving that love, and I feel like God is love. So if you live through love, you live with God. And I needed to learn that I also needed to love myself first. So once I finally learned to, kind of love everything that that God has given me, I was able to finally realize, those insecurities, leave those alone. You don't need to compare yourself with other people, because all you're really doing is just wasting time. You're wasting that, this head that, or brain, or just, I don't know how to, I'm getting too sciencey, but, what the personality that God gave me, why am I just wasting my time with that?
Yeah.
Instead of just loving who I am.
Yeah. And that's kind of what you would say spurred that confidence, starting to fuel yourself. I definitely can tell you that I relate to you as far as the bullying goes. I was bullied probably from 5th grade to 11th grade, right? All the while kind of thinking within myself, growing within myself, trying to figure out who I wanted to be. Really struggling because I didn't have, any siblings to look up to really. And didn't have that type of relationship with my parents to be able to go to them and tell them about these things that I was experiencing. And so a lot of it I was just learning on the go. And it took me about 8 years, and I finally got to a place where I was very similar to you, I am who I am, I'm not the tallest, I'm not the fastest, I'm not the smartest, but I am me. And no one can be a better me than me. And so I have to be confident. I have to be confident. I have to own that, and I have to love myself, like you were saying. And I think once I started doing that, life started kind of turning around for me. I found people that were attracted to that, and I started to make more friends that were similar to that. And so it's to this day that I respect so much people that can be confident, and that can really root for themselves even when no one else does, right? Because they see something in themselves that obviously other people might not see, but other people don't define who you are. You do.
You're your best fan.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
the one that's saying, I can do it, I can do it.
Exactly.
Same like when I have like 100 push-ups to do, let's just say that's the goal. I'm at like
I don't even
80.
think I can do 100
like,
push-ups.
oh, can you do it? And then, because nobody else is around you.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
And so, on that note, I want to hear about some of your passion projects. Like, I want to hear about some of the things you're doing. What is the dream life, or I should say the dream goals? What do they look like for Ava?
So at a very young age, I kind of already knew what I wanted to do in life.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was younger, like I had mentioned, my grandma told me that I had a golden heart. And that's when I realized that I feel like I'm on this earth, to make people happy, to make people smile. And so with me, I think my ultimate goal is to do that, to be able to pick up some people that are very down, and just help them realize that they are special, they're here for a reason. And so that's one of my main goals, is to keep that going, because when I was insecure, I wasn't able to do that. I wasn't able to show that light that I had inside of me. So to be able now to make those people smile, make people happy, definitely kind of, if I can do that, then I'm good.
Heck yeah.
If I can make at least one person smile or laugh, when they come into work, when they come into like where I work, sometimes I'm good.
That's awesome. Where do you find it in yourself to just be so positive, to like to want to give people those smiles? I know for me, a lot of the times that I don't invest in people is because I've been hurt in the past. And so like my heart, there's that first inclination that's like, like I want to. And then there's like, my mind kicks in, and my mind's like, what if it's a letdown? Like, what if I'm going to be hurt? Like, how do you find it in yourself to selflessly keep loving and giving? And how do you keep yourself going?
So it's mainly back to the religious side of me, because when Jesus was telling everyone about, who his father was and what was going to happen, nobody believed him, but he still kept going. He still kept persevering. And I really feel like the relation that every person you meet, you can, like, they're going to either change your life or help your life in some sort of way. And I might be that change for that person,
Absolutely.
And the reason I think why I'm so happy all the time and why I have this personality is everyone goes through different things every day. And my smile or my conversation with that person, let's just say they woke up and they just got into an argument with someone. Maybe they were going to make a, decision right then and there to do something that wasn't really them, but maybe them having that conversation with me might steer them into a different path, And I just feel like, I also think I was just born this way. Like you asking me that question, a lot of people ask me that all the time. Ava, why are you so genuine? Like, why are you like this? And I think it's just more of, I have that religious part of me that is really there, and now with being confident, knowing who I am, and surrounding myself with people that actually love me and give me that love and give me that energy, is why I'm able to be the person that I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's beautiful. It's something that I've gotten more cognizant of as I've gotten older, right? I don't want to isolate myself. I don't want to feel alone. I don't want to let the fear of being hurt take me away from investing in people around me. Because at the end of the day, what you do, your accomplishments, they don't mean anything. But the effect that you have on people around you and how you make them feel you know, and what you can inspire people to do, even if that's smile,
Yeah.
or, you know, build a school or build a new social network. Like, you never know what effect you have on people. So thank you for inspiring me again and showing me that, you know, while there may be people in life that may not be deserving of your energy, you should always try to give it,
Definitely.
because there are people that will be, and you don't want to take that opportunity away from someone, right?
Yes, definitely.
So, Ava, let me ask you. I know you talked about, you know, your history and, you know, growing and overcoming challenges and difficulties, your goals, your passions. When it's all said and done, what do you think is going to be your legacy? If you had one life to affect, what would you want them to go on and do?
It would be to love others and treat people the way you want to be treated. Because when I was younger and getting bullied, it was really hard. You know, you feel really alone, and I don't think people understand that all you have to do is give love. You know, love is so powerful. Even relationships you have with people are so powerful. And for you to just be rude or mean to someone just because that's the way that you feel that day, that isn't the right way to feel. You know? So definitely just love in general. Love, yeah, it can be, everyone's version of love is different. Like, for example, I don't use love, you know, I don't say I love you to all these, to, you know, everyone. I say it to people that I really care about, because I know what love feels like.
I'm really excited that I got to talk to you about that. And if there's one thing that I'm going to take away from this conversation, it's going to be to love, to love selflessly, to not be afraid. And this moment, like right here, this is exactly why I wanted to do Let's Talk. This moment of understanding that we just had, that sweet spot of being able to be a little bit more intimate, a little bit more vulnerable with someone. I feel like I'm that much closer to you now. And I hope that you feel the same way, and that you maybe got a different side of me that most people don't always get. And so I think the task now is to go on and try to be genuine with people, try to build those relationships through conversation. You know, because there's so many different facets of life, but the one that you've just impressed upon me is to never forget to love along the way. You know, because life will change and circumstances will change, but love can be a constant, and it can really affect people.
You listened. Good job.
I tried. So thank you so much again.
Of course. It's been my pleasure.
It's been wonderful talking with you, and I hope that we can do it again sometime soon.